Now, for those of you that did not see South Park joining the Pandverse, I suggest everyone to go ahead and catch it on Paramount Plus, and eventually it will be available on Comedy Central. It's just a matter of time, but we know that this event, this dedicated event, was a direct jab at the current status of Disney, what Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy are currently doing with franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, and the Disney remakes in general. And on top of all of that, we also know that Trey Parker and Matt Stone are doubling down to really continue to go against Disney throughout all of 2024 and beyond. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, if there's one thing that a lot of us do not agree with about when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy is exactly what she did to essentially water down and destroy Star Wars by diverting from the source material or from cherry-picking elements from the expanded universe and just completely altering it in the worst way possible. And then she has the gall to say that there was no source material to work with for the 3 Star Wars movies within the sequel trilogy. Now, on top of that, we know that Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they made a complete parody of Kathleen Kennedy in their Pandverse episode. They really had this whole storyline set up with the Pandverse as to the reason why she was able to do what she did with the franchises like Star Wars, etc., Indiana Jones. And, well, this is where matters get even worse, is that Kathleen Kennedy seemingly addresses the ongoing criticism happening with Parker, Stone, Comedy Central, the Pandverse, and the plan to keep on mocking Disney, etc. Let's get into this. Now, with that being said, with both Trey Parker and Matt Stone getting astronomical positive reception and ratings from the fans about mocking Kathleen Kennedy and the current status of Disney, one major development has to do with Kennedy's response to the South Park event episode Behind the Scenes, and how she is taking action in the worst way possible. One major event with this, of course, and one major development with this overall actual thing happening across the board over at Disney is that this has to do with a concrete plan that Kathleen Kennedy has right now in response to both Parker and Stone. Just 2 days after the Pandverse event aired, Kathleen Kennedy went on to deliver the following. I would be lying if we have not noticed some part of the fandoms of both Star Wars and Marvel pushing back against our creators and myself, and those like Dave Filoni and Kevin Feige. I have been in this business for well over 20 years, and I can absolutely say that we have a problem with our culture, especially when you have television programs creating a parody on our efforts with our fan-favorite franchises here at Disney. What I will say in response to that is that we have no plans to stop with what we are doing with Star Wars and Marvel. I am proud to announce that we will be doubling our push for making our films more diverse and boosting equality on all fronts with our movies and television shows. Mr. Feige is a dear friend of mine, and we share the same opinion on that. We are on the same page. Any television show or groups of people that are opposed to that, I believe, need to rethink their lives and way of thinking into how the modern world works. Animated parodies that want to continue to poke fun at our efforts to normalize the entertainment industry, well, that's their problem. We have a great road ahead of us with Star Wars and especially with our upcoming Acolyte series. Now, guys, let me just stop here quick for 1 second before I continue. The fact that Kathleen Kennedy is really kind of low-key just going against South Park, going against all of the people that are against everything Disney and what they have done to literally destroy franchises like Star Wars and Marvel, and even their own animated films that have been pretty much converted into live action. They're going to continue to do that, and Kathleen Kennedy is saying it right here. This is coming out of the horse's mouth, that she wants to double everything of what they are already doing. They want to up the ante about making things more diverse, making things driven with more equality. This is a part of the whole DEI plan, by the way, guys. This is all about Disney at the end of the day as well. And as you saw in the South Park episode, which was actually quite accurate, they made Bob Iger look like a doormat against Kathleen Kennedy, like Kathleen Kennedy is, walking over him. Almost like he's afraid of her in a way. That's almost what it seems like even in the real world, as if Bob Iger is just taking things from Kathleen Kennedy and those like Kevin Feige that also, by the way, support all this nonsense. Now, that's not to defend Bob Iger. He's also a part of the problem. But if you want to really get down to the root of it all, it's some of the top shareholders out there that are funding all of this craziness. You got people like State Street, you got BlackRock and Vanguard that are all about this DEI nonsense. And even though Bob Iger made that false promise weeks ago about quieting down the noise, that was a complete lie, by the way. That was basically a way to string along the public and the shareholders to 2024. Before their second phase of their cost containment plan goes active, which, by the way, is going to include thousands of firings on all fronts. Marvel, Star Wars, the film industry as a whole, associated with Disney, the parks, even in the corporate ladder. But let's continue, all right? Now, on top of that, Kennedy goes on to conclude by delivering the following. We are already in talks of a season 2 of Acolyte that will empower women and those that come from different backgrounds to get a chance in the spotlight. The same will be applied with the future of Marvel. I got a great chance to have a detailed phone call with Kevin, and he is applying the same strategy that we here at Lucasfilm fully support, and we are beyond excited for everyone involved. We do our best to not pay attention to overly demanding fans, or any kind of television program that attempts to alter our path to success. For both Star Wars and Marvels, we are looking to altering the source material in ways that it will satisfy both new and loyal fans around the globe, with different interpretations of already established characters in the material that's been around for decades. We are not going to mention names, but we find any program that pokes fun at Disney and what they stand for as unprofessional, to say the least. Now, here's the other problem about Disney and where they stand today, is the fact that they come across as cowardly. They don't really seem to care about what is going on with the current phase of Bob Iger's cost containment plan, which, by the way, is most certainly wreaking havoc over at the company. This is exactly why there are so many shareholders giving up their stock with Disney. They don't care about it anymore. They are moving on. They are doing a different strategy. They want nothing to do with Disney anymore. There are multiple families out there, by the way, as well, that are really boycotting multiple movies and TV shows and even the parks via Disney. They don't care. A lot of people don't care about Disney anymore, and this is exactly when Disney becomes very desperate, to the point where they have to have Kathleen Kennedy openly delivering the fact that they are going to be doubling down and upping the ante with all of this DEI nonsense that is heavily flawed and hypocritical. I've talked about this several times. DEI, by the way, it's all about diversity, inclusion, equality, etc., and it really is all about, okay, we can include these groups and those groups, but not this one. And I think that what we saw in that Snow White still, alright, when they gave us that first look just yesterday of the CGI dwarfs, sure, you can throw in CGI dwarfs, but you can't throw in real dwarfs or real little people. That's their problem. That's exactly what the overall issue is here. So, overall, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.